My parents lied to me saying they would help me rent a flat to live if I went to university in a different city. I went, and they now told me on my 20th birthday that I'm too dependent on them and they're no longer going to fund anything. I'm a student. My parents make enough money that when I went through student finance to get my maintenance loan, I was told I could only get the minimum, just over $3,000 a year, because finance is calculated from what your parents earn, and there's an assumption that your parents will help you out. I'm on a high-intensity course, and I wasn't sure how I'd be able to balance studying and schooling, so when I found out I was going to get the minimum, I told my parents I wanted to either take the coming year to save up, and then go to my first-choice university a year later than planned, or go to my second choice now because I wouldn't be able to afford to live in the city my first choice is in. My parents then said that they would pay my rent if I went to my first choice on schedule. They set me up in a studio flat, so all I had to do was get a part-time job to cover the cost of food and bills. On 18th February, my 20th birthday, they called me and said that I was relying on them too much and needed to find out what the real world was like by earning my own money. They said they would cover my rent and phone for that month, so until the end of February and after that, I was on my own. They then said that they were still my parents and they loved me, and wanted me to stay in touch, just learn some independence while doing this. I begged them to reconsider, but they ended the call, so I had 11 days notice that I would have no flat or phone. I begged my uni for emergency housing, but they said that I had no proof I'd been cut off, so they couldn't do anything. I emailed my parents asking them to write a letter stating they'd cut me off so I could sort my student finance and emergency housing. They said no. I asked work if I could take on more hours and was told that due to my contract, I can't do any more than I'm already doing, so I'm now looking for a second job. I'm sleeping on a friend's sofa until a place I can afford opens up, and as I still don't have proof I've been cut off for student finance, I will probably have to drop out this summer. I got a Facebook message from them today telling me they were disappointed I didn't call on Mum's birthday a couple days ago, and that I've not given them my new phone number yet. I responded, telling them the position I'm currently in and that I no longer want a relationship with them. I've gotten a bunch of messages from them and my brothers asking me to reconsider. My friend says I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel incredibly guilty, and like a spoiled brat, because I don't love my family for their money, I love them because they're my family. At the same time, they've really screwed me over here. Am I the jerk for not wanting a relationship with them? /relevant comments. Commenter. Am I reading this right? You were willing to delay your plans so you could get your finances in order, and your parents told you not to worry about it, that they would pay, you relied on that, and they suddenly cut you off with less than 2 weeks' notice? Did something drastic happen to bring this about? If this is truly what happened, it is incredibly hard to believe they could be, both of them yet, this cruel and destructive to their child. I cannot believe there isn't something very relevant missing from the post, but if not, very not the jerk. Ops response. Nothing has happened. I live on the bare minimum, buying cheap clothes I only replace when I have to, cooking on a budget, saving all I can. I picked this uni because my parents wanted me to, and even chose my course based on the field they want me to go into, which makes more money than the one I wanted to do. I've always gone with whatever they said, never argued back. I don't even go out with friends or date because they always tell me they don't want stuff detracting from my studies, and nothing has happened on their end to decrease finances. If anything, given the nature of their work and current circumstances, business is thriving for them. Getting cut off was totally blindsiding. I'd understand it a bit more if I did something to warrant it, but there's honestly been nothing. To a similar commenter. They said they'd given me enough advantages already. I shouldn't need to apply for extra money or emergency housing. They feel I should have been saving when I've been working part-time and paying bills, food, plus sending them money to pay off my car, buying train tickets to see them regularly, and paying to rent clothing for their parties. If I don't have money saved despite all the help they've already given me, then it's on me to sort it out without relying on extra money. Commenter 2. That is some great weed they are smoking. The jumps in logic are Olympic level. Are they always this nonsensical? Is there any chance that someone has been stirring, telling them things to make them think you are being irresponsible with your money? Someone jealous of the help they were giving you, perhaps? Ops response. No one I can think of. In the least cocky way possible, people tend to like me. My parents are forever introducing me to their friends, and friends of business friends, and the next day my parents always say that they really liked you. The only people I can think of who could be jealous of me are my brothers, but they're older than me, chose not to go to university, and are currently living with our parents. So I don't know what they'd stand to gain by doing this, and even with the current issue in the business they're in, it's actually thriving, as the crisis is helping them get more clients. I've got half a mind to contact my parents and ask what changed, more for closure than anything, because there's nothing they could say at this stage that would wipe out the knowledge they could leave me homeless with 11 days' notice and still expect me home for Easter. Commenter 3. Just want to ask, have you tried just getting your parents to admit they cut you off by text message or recording a call with either of them saying that they cut you off, since unless your uni has specific criteria of what could be considered evidence, that might help. Ops response. I've tried, and I think they know what I'm attempting because they've been very careful to not admit to anything in writing so far, and they aren't answering my calls since the interaction earlier. I've messaged them just asking why they cut me off, and hopefully they'll respond in a way that confirms they did actually do that, and I can use it. Update 1 day later. I messaged them asking why they cut me off, saying the least they could do was explain why they're fine leaving me homeless. They responded. My friend, the one I'm staying with, is an out and proud lesbian. There are maybe 2 posts about me on her social media, one being a group shot of us and some people we were studying with in the library, with me and her sat together, and another from a couple days before my birthday where she posted a photo of me when we went to lunch because we weren't planning on seeing each other on my actual birthday, and in the caption she refers to me as Princess in a clearly joking way. My brothers then showed our parents and told them I was a lesbian and she was my girlfriend. So now I have proof that they cut me off, proof they're homophobic, and confirmation that they can and will switch on me at the drop of a hat, as well as proof of my brothers, who are older than me and living with our parents, being jealous crap heads. They didn't just tell me this on the phone because they hoped I'd figure it out. Apparently there's enough affection still there for them to expect a call on Mum's birthday, but not enough to not totally F me over. So yeah, never talking to them again. Any of them. I've sent the screenshots to the person I spoke to in emergency housing, though I've been warned that for something called emergency housing, it's not very fast. My friend has said I can stay with her as long as I need. The reply my parents sent hasn't explicitly said the phrase "we cut you off because," but given the context of them replying to my message asking why, it should be enough. Thanks everyone. I felt really crappy cutting them off over finances, but now I know they're pure effing evil, I don't feel so bad. I've also sent my parents the screenshots of my brother confirming that he and my brother lied about me, and they're very apologetic, but that doesn't change anything. As my brothers live with my parents, I hope they're all very happy together right now. New plan, changing the focus of my studies going into 3rd year to focus on the subjects I want to do, not the ones my parents wanted me to do. If I do this, I have a far better shot at getting a work placement. It's far less popular than my current field of study, and if I get a work placement, I can spend my 3rd year working full-time, earning a bit of cash, and then resume my studies the following year. Failing this, and if I can't get any help from the university or student finance, then I will defer my 3rd year and work full-time for a year. My friend says I can stay with her as long as I need and has said if I can't get emergency housing but can sort out my placement or another job, then we could get a place together next year, so I have a confirmed roommate. I no longer think I'm the jerk, so I'll probably be taking this down. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Your brothers are jerks. Why do they hate you so much? Ops response. I'm assuming it has something to do with me being the first in our entire family to go to university and succeeding academically, while they were never academically inclined, so there may be some jealousy involved. I also feel like our parents may have at some point hinted that they were fed up with supporting 3 adult children, and my brothers, who are 25 and 29 and live with them still, figured it was me or them. Op adds an edit to her post. So here's the thing. I might not be straight. I'm figuring it out, and I don't really have the capacity to go through it right now, but I've never said anything to anyone at all, ever, because I knew my parents were homophobic, so my brothers may have thought they were lying, but they also may have been inadvertently correct, and I have to say being correct by accident is very typical of them. Commenter 2. Gotta wonder if they ever considered that leaving you homeless would drive you straight, into the arms of your rumored lesbian lover. Honestly, what would it even achieve if this was an effort to decay you, other than forcing you to rely on her? Or worse, quit school? Do they want a 3rd child living at home? It feels like they want you to fail because they are realizing they can't control you unless you're not in their house. I'm really sorry you have to go through this, and I am so happy that you have a good friend. I think she can sympathize with you for real because as LGBT we know the fear of being disowned like only few do. I hope she makes good on her promises to you, and you tough it out until you can find a better situation or a place together. I hope you weather this and that something good comes out of it in the end. So many hugs and well wishes for you. You can do this, you're stronger than they ever gave you credit for. They want you to come crawling back to them. Fight with every fiber of your being to give them the middle finger. They don't deserve you. Ops response. I guess as far as they were concerned, the options were either I'd get gayer, but they wouldn't be associated with me, or I'd straighten out and either agree to stricter rules or come home so they could keep an eye on me. My friend actually has 2 dads. Her parents kicked her out when she was about 13, and she got adopted by a gay couple, so she really gets it. I think birth families might just suck in general, to be honest. She's being amazing, really helping me out, and refusing to let me give her a penny because she wants me to save up. Second update 15 days later. So here's how everything has shaped up. I won't be getting emergency housing from uni. I've not heard anything, and there's less than a month left before summer, so I'd be shocked if I got it at this stage. I'm still living with my friend. She got me a job at her workplace, but refuses to take any rent off me, so I've been repaying her by sneakily buying food and cooking her dinner as I get home before her. We have plans to move in together this summer, ready for next year. My parents have done a complete 180 and now want me to forgive them so badly that they're still refusing to sign a letter showing they've cut me off. So I'm still effed with student finance. My parents have also offered me my truck back, so me, my roommate, and 2 more friends will be going to my parents' house sometime soon to collect my truck and some things from my room. My tutor has written a letter for me for student finance, which they might accept, but I'm waiting to hear back. My course changes were approved, so now I'm doing what I want, not what my parents want, and it looks like I got my work placement. So I'll be either working and studying part-time for 2 years or working all next year and finishing studies the year after. Either way, I'll be adding an extra year to my course, but I get paid and get relevant experience in my field. Ultimately, everything seems to have worked out as well as it could. Thanks to everyone who commented because a lot of you had great advice and thought of stuff I didn't, and I was truly concerned that I was in the wrong, so thanks for the reassurance, too. I will also be booking a session with the on-campus mental health professional because this has really shone a light on just how effed up my family is. Thanks again. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. They want you to forgive them, but they still won't sign the letter? How does that logic work? Ops response. Because when I forgive them, I won't need the letter. Commenter 2. Sorry if you've already answered this somewhere, but do you have text messages or emails from them that discuss them cutting you off financially? Those might be enough to substitute for the letter you need, in the event the university is willing to hear your case. Ops response. I do, but they're no use. Messages can be faked. Commenter 3. I don't know if it will help, but you might try stating that you won't even consider forgiving them until they sign the letter. It seems like they are crazy enough to prefer to lose you than to sign a letter that admits they were crappy, but it could be worth a shot. Good luck in everything. Ops response. Tried. Their response was, nearly got us haha. Because they suck. Commenter 4. They do not want forgiveness, they want control. That truck is going to have strings attached to it, and you better cross your T's and dot your I's, because you are falling right into a huge effing trap. If it had 1% to do with forgiveness, you would have that letter, and they would be making amends. They are not doing that, they are struggling desperately for some control over you again. This is their last possible straw, your truck and the letter. Should you take either, and not do your due diligence on who it's registered to, if they put a lien on it, who pays insurance, who put the tags on it, etc., you are going to be right back in the crap. Dancing for them the way they want you to dance. It's a effing trap. It's an obvious trap, so be effing careful. If you can squeeze the truck out and cut the very purposefully planted strings to that agreement, good on you. Keep them cut off, because this is all just a blatant, clear as day manipulation and effort to regain lost control. None of it is about being sorry or about getting you to forgive them. Ops response. When we bought the truck, they paid half and I paid half, and I've been paying them back in installments for their half. I'm only a couple hundred off paying them back, and as my roommate won't take money off me, I can afford to pay them the last bit. I have proof of the contract that outlined our deal, and aside from that, I've paid for all the maintenance and tax and everything else that's gone into it. The only reason they have it right now is that driving isn't practical where I am. I've said if they really want my forgiveness, then they'll transfer it to my name and send me proof, at which point I will arrive with my friends and take the truck back. I've not told them that I'll also be calling the non-emergency line and requesting help in dealing with this from local law enforcement, or that they'll never actually get my forgiveness. Once I have the truck, everything will be 10x easier for me because I'll have reliable transportation. I'll be able to get any job that involves deliveries, which are rife where I am, and in a worst-case scenario, I can sleep on the backseat. Commenter 5. I remember you. So glad to hear that you are doing as well as can be and that you are not caving into family pressure. As one comment said, you realize that you don't need their money because of the strings attached and how quickly they would take it away. It is all about power, and I am so proud that you are basically flipping them off and showing them that you don't need them. I'm curious though, what happened to your brothers? I'm sure nothing, but did they face any consequence for their horrific behavior? Ops response. I'm sure nothing, but did they face any consequence for their horrific behavior? My parents said in their messages that they may make them get jobs, but they're still supporting my brothers fully. My brothers have been working age for over a decade and never had a job, they have no qualifications and no skills, and my parents have never followed through on anything when it comes to my brothers, so the odds of them actually being punished are slim.